Edward Espinoza, come on in, my friend. Let me ask you this, Edward. The Republicans promised they were going to repeal and replace Obamacare. This does not do that. This changes Obamacare. Republicans would argue this fixes Obamacare. So is what you're seeing play out less bad than you thought it would be?
No, this is terrible. What they're essentially doing is taking away health care from Trump voters and giving a tax break to Trump donors. That's what this boils down to. That's why the timeline is so rushed. They need to be able to address this so that they can try to do some sort of tax reform, because it relies on the health care law changing. And it might be have some kind of human effect in Congress. Maybe they're rushing it through right now because they think they only have the votes right now. The more people learn about this bill, the less they're going to like it. They wouldn't have been able to pass this next week. But left in the balance are millions of people who rely on this coverage. Here in Texas, we have 5 million people who are uninsured. It is the highest in America, and the Texas legislature has done nothing to address it. Obamacare has been a savior for these people, and when that goes away, and with pre-existing conditions, they'll have nothing left. And that's something that will be on the hands of all those Republicans who are rolling beer kegs through the offices of the Capitol today.
It does make you wonder, what does this is a big moment for Republicans. This is also a big moment for Democrats in terms of something that their blood, sweat, and tears over from 2009, 2010, and all of these years defending Obamacare, it took a big hit today. What does this mean for the Obama legacy? His name so intrinsically tied to this massive overhaul of the U.S. healthcare system that's now 1/6 of the economy.
President Obama was the first president who was successfully able to bring health care reform to the table in a generation. And that brings his name front and center, because a lot of people who were formerly living in a world where if they got sick, they got bankrupted. And that didn't happen so much when Obamacare came around, particularly because pre-existing conditions were covered. Now you've got Democrats upset about this, and these are ads that they're going to cut and use in the next election cycle, and Republicans are going to try and tout their successes if they can get this that far. But left in the balance are millions of Americans who rely on this. Realize, for Americans, this is not a political issue. This is a life or death issue. These are people who need to find out how they can get their medications, how they can see their doctor, and how they can go on living. And meanwhile, they've got all these politicians messing around with it in the meantime so that they can try and get through a tax cut or claim a shorthanded victory. It's very dangerous territory for Republicans, what they're doing right now. And this is not a short game. This is a long game, and I think that they should be prepared for it, and I'm not sure that they are.